On the 6th of May 1937, the German passenger airship LZ-129 Hindenburg exploded while attempting to land at Naval Air Station Lakehurst in New Jersey, killing 36 people, 13 of which were passengers, 22 crew members, and 1 member of the ground crew. Of the 97 people on board, 62 actually survived. The massive dirigible, filled with hydrogen, caught fire and was engulfed in flames within seconds, collapsing in front of a stunned crowd. The disaster was captured on film by newsreel crews and accompanied by the emotional eyewitness radio recording of broadcaster Herbert Morrison, who exclaimed, "Oh, the humanity."
Right to the mooring mast. Oh, the humanity and all the fans.
Though the broadcast was not live, it aired the following day and became one of the most famous audio recordings in history. The tragedy effectively ended the era of passenger airships as a form of travel. I will now play a selection of clips from a different newsreel from the time. There will be a few cuts in it because I don't want to get a copyright strike here. So yeah, here we go.
The German Zeppelin Hindenburg, queen of the skies, seen here from a universal newsreel camera plane as it sped over New York to its tragic end at Lakehurst, New Jersey, now lies at the Naval Air Station a twisted mass of metal. The wind is bad and the docking is a ticklish one, but it's all a thrill for the crowd of happy passengers eager to land after their transoceanic trip. A roar and a burst of flame near the big tail fins turned the ship into a flaming inferno. Passengers and crew, the fortunate among them, fell or jumped and were dragged to safety before the fiery furnace took their lives.
A twisted, tangled mass of seared girders and bits of blackened fabric are all that remains of the proud luxury airliner Hindenburg that lies at the Lakehurst Naval Station. The death list is now 35, with 10, including Captain Pruss, still on the critical list. German Ambassador Hans Luther was the first Reich observer to arrive, visiting the injured at the hospital in nearby Lakewood, but refusing to comment on anything connected with the disaster. 13-year-old Werner Franz, a cabin boy, is the youngest survivor who will appear before the Department of Commerce Investigation Board that calls Commander Rosendahl, head of the naval station, as first witness. But experts believe the exact cause of the greatest of air disasters will never be known. Over the Hindenburg will loom a question mark that can never be forgotten.
One other little known fact that I happen to know about the Hindenburg disaster is that the reason it was filled with hydrogen rather than the other gas they used, I think methane or something, or helium, is that the United States has actually placed sanctions on Germany, which meant that they had to use hydrogen instead of that gas because they couldn't get it anymore. And that's why it was flammable and that's why it exploded. Anyway. And with that out of the way, also in the United States, 39 women, led by Helen Miller Malek, founded the National Federation of Press Women during a meeting in Chicago, creating a national organization to support female journalists. Then, over in Catalonia, Spain's Central Anarchist Confederation, the CNT, intervened to end the week-long fratricidal clashes in Barcelona. The anti-Stalinist Marxist Party, POUM, Partido Obrero de Unificación Marxista, was outlawed and its leadership was arrested under pressure from Soviet-backed communists. Then 21 nations signed a 5-year international sugar agreement aimed at regulating the global sugar market and stabilizing prices through export quotas and cooperative oversight. And finally, over in Brazil, Radio Bandeirantes officially began broadcasting from Sao Paulo as Brazil's first all-news radio network, marking a significant step in the development of modern journalism in Brazil and Latin America. The average temperature in Berlin was 9.9 degrees, definitely a lot colder than it was on the Hindenburg, eh? And that's it for the facts today. So let's get into the gameplay, where we recently started a battle yesterday, actually. Oh, another event. So there's 3 events in 2 days. So the Chinese United Front forms. Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong have issued a joint announcement declaring that they have set aside their differences in the face of Japanese attack. Both sides will observe a strict policy of non-aggression against each other for as long as the war against Japan lasts, and have vowed to do everything in their power to throw back the invader. A number of smaller warlords have also declared their support, putting their forces under the command of Chiang Kai-shek. Whether the longtime enemies of the Chinese Civil War will actually work together remains to be seen, and many experts believe that this will do little more than delay the inevitable defeat of China. An unstable alliance indeed. So let me actually double check if the war actually started. It does not seem to be possible to send volunteers yet. Yeah, they must be at war. So they're not actually at war yet, but it's definitely looking like it's going to happen soon. Anyway, with that, let's actually get to the gameplay. So as I mentioned, we got into a battle yesterday. We entered into one, although none of our divisions have actually found the front line yet. But yeah, it's going to be 4 against 2 here. Should be an easy one to win, although we are suffering attrition in the meantime, 1% over here. So that's not too good. It's just on this infantry unit though, not on the Panzer, so I'm happy with that. Very happy with that actually. By the way, now that we have radio, shouldn't we have a higher chance to enter the battle? Ooh, it turned red when we joined. That's not good. Yeah, it's 4% now instead of 2% because we got radio, so that's very nice to have. Should be a bit quicker than we're used to. Oh, that's the time already. Well, that's it for today. As for the political power, actually, so there were 2 options here. Either I can go for Chief of Navy or Chief of Air for more XP, which is probably the best play. But then I could also go for the extra operative, so I can start doing operations and do a bit more stuff. And I think actually that seems more fun. So even though I think it's a better idea to go for Chief of Navy or Air Force, I'm going to take the operative slot first. That way I can try to get up to some, under the table shenanigans. I'm going to take this guy because he also reduces the civilian intelligence to others and the resistance growth speed. So Reinhard Heydrich, you are hired. Then after that, we will probably get both the Chief of Navy and the Chief of Air when we reach enough political power again. So hopefully we'll have both of those by the end of the year. That being said, let's quickly go over here then and see if we can actually recruit one yet. No, it will still be locked for 30 days. Okay, good to know. So in 1 month, we can recruit an operative. That all being said, now it's finally over. See you tomorrow.